This barren wasteland is one of the mine dumps found in and around South Africa's biggest city, Johannesburg. The soil here is full of toxins like arsenic, lead and radioactive uranium. The heavy rains and dust storms that have become more frequent in recent years have spread the contamination, especially around Soweto and its neighbouring townships. That's led Ndivile Mokoena to become an environmental activist, educating people about the health hazards posed by the mine dumps. She's invited us to her family home in Soweto, where her older sister and 2 nephews live. Ndivile knows that here, environmental issues like climate change are also social issues.
Climate change largely is viewed as an environmental issue. However, it encompasses everything. It's a developmental issue, it's a human rights issue, it's a social issue. You find that when we look at the impacts of climate change and how one can adapt, the most vulnerable are the women and children.
Ndivile grew up under the racist apartheid regime. Back then, mining debris was dumped directly next to the townships where black people lived, at a safe distance from affluent white suburbs. As a young girl, she saw how much more vulnerable the poor and disadvantaged were to environmental problems. Women suffered doubly. Not only were they exposed to the hazards, in a deeply entrenched patriarchal society, women have fewer choices and fewer means to protect themselves. That men could dictate a woman's fate was a notion Ndivile grew up with.
Traditionally, you know, when a man gets married, they're looking to get a boy as a firstborn. But when I came out and they found that it's a girl, then my father said, I've had enough of girls. That's the meaning of my name, Ndivile. It means I've had enough.
Ndivile was the 3rd of 4 daughters. Her father was a proud man who took good care of his family. Yet he was also a deeply traditional man who saw no value in educating girls.
My father told my mom that he's not going to take girls to university because he feels he's wasting his money, because we will go to school, then start working, but we'll be working for another family because we'll get married and work for someone else or another family. So he'll rather invest in boys rather than in girls. So that thing, you know, I think it sort of inspired me to look into these gender issues.
Ndivile did study anyway, earning the money she needed as a bank teller and later as a marketer at a big national newspaper. She got more and more involved in community work. Eventually she quit her job and organised environmental cleanup campaigns in Soweto. Today, Ndivile is the South Africa coordinator for the Gender into Urban Climate Change initiative. The global network evaluates and monitors the gender components of climate protection strategies in cities around the world. At a project workshop in Johannesburg, the coordinators share the experiences and challenges faced by women in their countries. In India, for instance, many poor families can't afford the security of a basic life insurance.
Mumbai is a coastal area, okay? So fishing is a big industry there. So whenever the men go out to sea and whenever there are storms and they don't return back, the women have either to relocate or to look out for a different business and to care for the family themselves. So the burden on them is increased 10 times more.
In South Africa, the initiative works together with 2 cities, Tshwane and Johannesburg. Ndivile is especially interested in introducing climate-smart urban agriculture. In Johannesburg's Joubert Park, an abandoned greenhouse has now become a community garden. The cooperative grows vegetables and medicinal herbs. Currently, the project provides work for 2 formerly jobless women.
This one is a chomolia. So these are the young 2 ladies. They own a farm in their area where they stay, and then they come here as volunteers to the greenhouse to take care of the space.
With a changing climate, agricultural practices have to change too. The project teaches women farmers how to adapt sustainably in order to ensure income and food security in the future.
So here in greenhouse, as we're doing organic vegetables, it helps us to sustain ourselves because we sell our organic vegetables to the local market, so we are able to have something every week.
Making themselves heard by policymakers remains a big challenge. The city government had agreed to renovate the greenhouse, but cut the funding at the last minute.
It's still a long way to go, but we will keep on raising our voice and keep on commenting and critiquing their policies and make recommendations, identify gaps where there are gaps.
It's work that takes strength and perseverance, and Ndivile Mokoena has plenty of both.